A Story of Survival by Julie Toll of East Gosford 2250. Narrated by Janine Penfold. My story may not be any different from many cancer survivors, but it's my story that I'd like to share with you. Firstly, a little background history. Some 30 years ago, I left my home birth state to relocate from South Australia to New South Wales. The initial reason was to enable my then husband to find employment in a state that offered more work opportunities and job security. So, with 3 young children in tow and then husband, I left South Australia to set up a new home and work life in New South Wales. Leaving my family and friends was such a wrench with many challenges. Where should we live? What schools will the children attend? Will I find work? How can we survive on our own, not knowing anyone? This state is so much bigger, there are so many more people, everything is much more expensive. There's hills everywhere and high-rise and traffic. It felt overwhelming. After despairing, I think I cried off and on for many weeks, I decided to take up the challenge and work hard at making this new life an adventure. After all, nothing life-threatening was happening. I began to turn it around. New horizons and challenges became opportunities. Hubby settled into his new job, children were enrolled and eventually settled into new schools, and I began volunteering. I volunteered at the schools. Canteen duty, reading support, library book repair and covering, sport coaching and umpiring, and soon made a new circle of friends. Volunteering led to employment, and our new home state didn't seem as daunting. Life went along pretty smoothly, with many interstate visitors in those first few years of moving. We made friends, had good jobs, and discovered that the Central Coast, where we settled, offered a very good lifestyle. We also travelled back to Adelaide annually for a few years to enjoy reacquainting with family and friends. And then the first bombshell hit our lives. My husband had an affair with someone at his work and decided that his life would be better with her. My world was rocked. How do you explain such grief when there actually hasn't been a death of someone? But it was the death of our relationship and marriage. It seemed insurmountable after 29 years of marriage and a total of 35 years having that someone in my life. I was totally thrown. To me, it was out of the blue, unexplainable and inexcusable. I soon learnt what an independent and strong a woman I was. There were more lessons to be learnt and comfort zones challenged. My road to what made me a survivor was extended. My family and network of friends were an immense support. I learned how to sell and buy property, worked 2 jobs, travelled overseas, and saw my children grow into very accomplished, happy adults. Good things were happening. But then tragedy number 2 hit. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. The prognosis was good, and being in my early 50s, I underwent the necessary operations, chemotherapy and radiotherapy treatment. I very much learnt what made me a survivor again. There's this treadmill you seem to get on, and you can choose to sink or swim. At times, the tide seems to be against you, but survival mode kicks in. By this time, I had 1 grandchild and another on the way, and there was a lot to look forward to. Blessings don't appear in things, but rather in the family and friends in your life. After a successful outcome from this cancer journey, I made it through to the other side to be cancer-free. Once again, life settled back into a happy space. When 12 years on from this first cancer journey, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. By now, I had 5 grandchildren and many more reasons to soldier on and fight for my life. This cancer was totally unrelated to the first, and once again, I was thrown a curveball to sink or swim. The chemotherapy and radiation treatment seemed a lot more taxing than the first time, but then again, this cancer was a more aggressive one. I was a lot older too, and a little worn out from the past. But what made me a survivor re-enthused, and I resolved to do the best I could to return to some semblance of good health. I'm working towards the 5-year mark to be cancer-free. There are many challenges involved, but I have the love and support of my family and friends to buoy me and keep me as fit and healthy as possible. I can't wait to see my grandchildren grow and celebrate with them the many milestones yet to occur in their lives. If they take after their parents in any way, then I think they're off to a good start. One of the best things in life is seeing your children and grandchildren growing in the phases of life. Challenges happen to strengthen our resolve, and you learn that you have a choice each and every day. They too will have "what made me" moments. The dictionary states, "A survivor is a person who copes well with difficulties in their life, one who endures adversity or hardship with an attitude of stoicism and persistence, trooper, fighter, sticker, and stayer." What made me a survivor is backed up with the love and care of family, friends, and professionals when challenges were presented. As long as we live, we must choose what's right for us, live out our truth, be guided and encouraged by others, and stay strong. I truly believe that you are not given anything in life that you are not able to cope with. It may take all you've got at times, but you too can be a survivor. Whatever your situation or challenge is, it is unique to you. You are the master of your choices. The end.